Hey, what's up everyone? Game Dad here, and I am super excited because the time has finally come. We are taking a look at the Monoprice Mini SLA printer. Now, I am super excited to check this out. I have never done anything with resin printers, and this one is supposed to be awesome with everything that I've heard. So I'm very excited to check it out and run through, its initial first setup and see what all is involved in doing a resin print, because I've never done that, and it's apparently a whole different ball game than printing with PLA stuff. And huge shout out to the folks over at Monoprice for sending this over, because I have been wanting to check one of these out for a while, and I cannot wait to see what all is involved in this. But I will say I am not being paid by them in any way. They just sent this over for me to check out and give my thoughts on. And before we dive in and check out the features of this printer, if you are new to the channel or you just haven't yet, please be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, as well as that little notification bell. That way you can alert every time I got a new video coming out. Now, let's talk the Mini SLA printer. And yeah, this is the Monoprice MP Mini SLA LCD High Resolution Resin 3D printer. So it's got a real long name. And as far as resin printers go, as far as I can tell, this is like a pretty standard size. Not like the PLA and like ABS, like the plastic 3D printers. These are actually significantly smaller. And when you open it up here, it's just got this little vat that you dump the resin into. It does have a magnetic plate on here. You can just kind of twist that off. That is actually the build plate, and that thing just clips right back onto there. Now, one of the cool features about this is it has apparently an auto-leveling bed, and it has like some cleaning features and stuff to it, but it's supposed to be a pretty just straightforward process, and I believe it's even Wi-Fi connected and stuff like that, so we'll be sure to check out all of that and see, how it all works. So, first up, what we're going to do is dive in. I'm going to show you what it looks like to turn it on and get it going, and then we will run a print and come back and see how it did. Alright, so as you can see here, we have the nice little black box that is this printer, and it does have a really cool lift-up kind of a UV shield right here. As you can see, we have that removable magnetic build plate. Then also with some thumb screws, we have the resin tray right here. But let's go ahead and turn this on and see what it looks like. You get that classic Monoprice logo coming up down there. And let's see here. Now, I will say one thing, I did have some trouble after unboxing this. This had a whole styrofoam piece around this so it wouldn't get messed up or anything. That was a super pain in the butt to remove. That was not an easy thing, which is weird because it's just some packing material, but I really had to struggle with getting that packing material out. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we got here. So I actually have gone in and set up the Wi-Fi ahead of time. That way I can show you guys all those features. But if we look here, we have print, profile, and control. And this is not a touchscreen. So they do give you some menu buttons here. So let's say we go into control. Pretty intuitive interface. Here's the Z-axis. So we can raise and lower that. And in the manual, it says when you're doing your first print that you want this to be totally at the top. So that's what I've gone ahead and done. And underneath all of this, you have all your various settings, different things like that. And you can print directly from the little micro SD card that comes with this. But it also allows you to print via the web interface. And I will be showing you guys what that web interface looks like. That way you guys can see it. From what I can tell, there isn't actually any software. You just connect directly to the printer and do your prints that way. But if we want to go ahead and check out what kind of printing stuff it has, let's go back. And if we look in here, print, it has 3 different files in it. They have PIG, PIG2, and PIG3. They do all have different file types. One is a GIF, the other one is a tar GZ, so I think that's a compressed file, and another one is a CWS. So we're probably just going to do that first one, but all you got to do with this is dump your resin in, select your file, and it should home it and level it and print it. So that is something we are going to go ahead and do, and I will show you all the web interface. That way you can see what it looks like in there, and I believe it'll even give like some live stats as to what is happening. So we will go ahead and pour the resin in and then check that out. All right, so before we check out the software, this is the little bottle of sample resin that they give with it. And I don't know anything about this. I can't even tell how much is actually in here. 100 milliliters. I don't know if that's a little or a lot, but it comes with this. It says, shake it well. Nice goopy sounds. And then it says to just pour it into that area right there. Now I know afterwards you'll want to use some gloves and stuff like that. I'll be careful. I'm not going to get anything on my hands right now, hopefully. But it says fill this up and then you are able to start your print. So we're going to open that bottle and there is some film protecting it. Go ahead and open this up. Now another note, it is resin, so make sure you do this in a ventilated area, but we're just going to go ahead and pour that in. Oh, crazy. That is so goopy. Okay, and if this vat is supposed to be full, this does not come with a lot. This filled it maybe a quarter of the way up, if that. But there we go. We got that resin in there, and this is all that I have for this, so we were probably only going to get maybe one test print out of this. But that's all right. So we'll do that. And let's go ahead and choose the pig. I choose that. Do you want to print the file? Yup, do it. So let's see. What it's doing now, it is lowering it back down, and it says that it is homing it right now. Alright, so it fully submerged the build plate down into that resin with the homing. Now it says that it is leveling it. I don't know how it's doing that or what it's going to do to level it, but that's what it says it's doing. And it says its base cure time is 40. I'm assuming that means minutes. Then a 6-minute cure time, and then 5 raise distance. See, I know nothing about this kind of print yet, so I am super excited to learn something new. Oh, and now it says exposure. So I think that means it might be going, so we're going to go ahead and close this lid down. And now we're going to go check out the software or the web interface and see what that's all about. Computer, it will come up with a little window asking to give an access code that shows up on your printer screen, and easy to note that even if a print is going, it will show that code. And as you can see here, there are 3 different little sections. So this section right here is whatever the active print is, and as you can see, it is printing pig.gif. It is on layer 17 of 520. I'm assuming this right here is kind of an image of what's happening so far. And it says ETA, it's got about an hour and 54 minutes. Status is it's printing. Looks like I can cancel, pause, and resume. Then over here, you have a click area. That way you can upload new files to the printer. I'm assuming it will store it onto the card. And you can see what's already stored on the card. You can select your files, things like that, refresh your page. And then over here, I'm not sure what exactly this is. I'm assuming these are some default settings that are in there. I can see resin, you have fast, medium, burn-in second, exposure second, and separation millimeters. So I'm assuming that is just your print settings. But what's really cool about this, instead of needing to install software or anything like that, it's apparently just built right in. And as you can see up here, you have LCD 3D printer. That's what shows this window. You have slicer and you have settings. So you can go in and edit all of your settings. Or if you click on slicer, it goes in right here, and you have a full slicer that operates exactly as you would expect. I'm just using a regular 2-button mouse with a wheel. I can zoom in and out. I can move the whole area around. I can rotate, do whatever I need to do. And I can set all kinds of different stuff here. Supports, slice, I can download, I can print. You can either browse or you can drag and drop STL files. So this is super handy, and it's just built in. And it's a part of the printer, so you don't have to worry about any kind of special like profiles or anything like that. It's here. And I gotta say, that's actually really nice that I don't have to worry about anything else. I can just put my STLs in and I'm good to go. And then if I click on the LCD 3D printer, it comes back in here and it loads up all the data as soon as it communicates. So there, we're back. Now I'm on layer 25 of 520.
So this is pretty cool. Like, yes, it's software, but it's just a web interface. And I had absolutely zero issues setting this up. I was able to just go in. It shows a little website that you go to, a little bit.ly link. You put in your SSID and password. It connects to your Wi-Fi. And the next time you boot it up, it has a little config file that was put onto the card. You're good to go, and it's connected. And that gives you the IP address to be able to connect. So this was honestly way easier to connect to with Wi-Fi than the Monoprice Voxel was. I did end up getting that working, but this was significantly easier. I just followed the quick little steps and it was good to go. So super awesome that this is available for this software.
All right, so here we are next morning. I just let it run overnight, and this print ran for, it looks like 2 hours and 2 minutes. So let's open it up and see what we've got. We do this, and underneath, if we take this plate off, looks like we have some little crystal resin pigs. So these need to be pulled off of here, and they need to be rinsed in some isopropyl alcohol, and then they can cure. So I'm going to go ahead and dunk these in some of that fluid and rinse them off and show you the end product. All right, so as I said, as you can see, it is the next morning, and here we have two little like mesh crystal pigs that have been printed in resin. Now, a little hard to see on camera. Let's see if I can focus this in for you. But we have a little crystalline pig. Pretty cool if you ask me. And now all that's left, now that they've been rinsed, because it is still definitely soft, these do need to cure in UV light. Now, I know there are different devices for actually like rinsing and curing and all of that stuff, and who knows, maybe I'll invest in something like that in the future. First, I need to get more resin to actually make more things. But for now, these, I believe it was, since this is fast UV resin, you just let it sit out in the sun for about 30 minutes, and then they harden, and they are good to go. So I'll just be setting these in the kitchen window and let those harden up. And what's really cool about it being clear that I didn't even think about before, you could totally just put an LED under this and make it shine in different colors. So really neat. This printer was super straightforward to use. I mean, I will say I was incredibly intimidated by this thing. That's why it took me this long to make this video, because the thought of using a actual like liquid base instead of just using filament, I don't know, that kind of freaked me out, and I wasn't sure if I was ready to take that kind of step with doing something like this. But after doing it now, yeah, I don't know why I was tripping about it. This was super easy to use, and actually it wasn't easier to set up than the voxel printer. That is just literally an all-in-one solution. You hit go and it does it. This had a little bit more with it, mainly in the unpacking. Like I said at the beginning of the video, getting the styrofoam off of the actual magnetic plate of this thing was a super pain in the butt. I've never had that much trouble unboxing something before. But once it was ready to go, all you do is just pour your resin into its little container, hit start on whatever you want, and go. The software is by far the easiest that I have ever used with any kind of printer. Just a super simple web interface, or you can do it the old style way and just put it on a card. But yeah, I gotta say, I'm really excited. Yeah, I can't do huge prints or anything like that with these, but that's totally fine. I know my buddy Jay over at Square Pegs, he was already asking me, like, hey, you know, can you make some little mini figures and stuff? So definitely going to look into that for him, like some little D&D figures, stuff like that. But these are really cool, like nice little trinkets. You want to make different die, stuff like that. I'm really excited as to what I'll be able to make with these. These are definitely, it feels like something that will not be used for any kind of actual, like, things like tools around the house or parts or anything like that. It's definitely more decoration and games and things. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below. Is there like an actual, like, you know, use for resin-based prints other than maybe prototyping or something like that? Outside of, you know, you can actually print like super useful things with different types of plastics. But I don't know if I would be able to do that with resin. I don't know. I'm very new to this, so as a complete noob to resin printing, I will say this was a very pleasant experience. keep in mind, with this printer, it does have a whole fan exhaust system in it, so it was filtering a lot of the fumes. But I will say, still be cautious. You are dealing with resin. It is curing the resin as it's making these prints. But overall, there wasn't a ton of fumes. It was super easy. I just took a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and put these in containers, sloshed them around a bit like the instructions said, and was good to go. Now they just need to cure. So again, huge thank you to the folks over at Monoprice for sending me this. This thing is awesome, and I am not being paid in any way. This is not sponsored. They just sent over the product for me to check out, and as all the different people that send me stuff know, you're going to get an honest review. If your product is good and it does what it says it's going to do, you're going to get a good review. If it's not and it doesn't do what it says it's going to do, I'm going to let everyone know about that. That's actually come back to bite me in the butt a couple of times, but that's fine, because I would rather everyone be able to hear about an honest experience with a good product than a dishonest experience with a bad product. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, I will have a product page link down in the description below. That way, if you want to check out this printer, you are more than welcome to, obviously. But yeah, resin printing. I am super excited to see what the future holds for this. Now, if you liked today's video, or maybe you're new to resin printing like I am, let me know down in the comments below. Or are you an expert at resin printing and you know all kinds of super useful things that can be done? I also want to know about that down below. I'd be very interested to know, are there different kinds of resin that will harden in different ways? Can they be used to, make like parts and prototyping things and all that kind of stuff? Or is it more, little trinkets and like dye and figures and stuff like that? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, please be sure to also hit those like and subscribe buttons, as well as that little notification bell. That way you get an alert every time I've got a new video coming out. Now, if you are interested in helping to support the channel each and every month, then head on over to patreon.com/GameDadShow, where for as little as $1 a month, you get early ad-free access to all of my videos, including your name in the credits like the fine folks that you see above right now. Now, as always, I'm GameDad. I thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you later.